Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and fellow adventurers in the corporate jungle, brothers and sisters on the path, welcome to our engaging and enlightening series on a topic that is as intriguing as it is critical. Snakes in suits. How to identify, deal with, and overcome psychopaths at work. Now, before you start picturing your boss slithering around with forked tongues, and let's clarify, we're not here to start a witch hunt or to provide ammunition for water cooler gossip, alright? Instead, we're embarking on a journey to understand a phenomenon that's more common and more disruptive than we might think. I want you to imagine this, right? You're at the office, coffee machine, and up strolls Tom. He's the new hire. And he's impeccably dressed, remembers everyone's name, including your cat's name or dog, and he can charm the socks off a snake itself. Yet, for whatever reason, he never seems to remember his own deadlines. Projects go awry, fingers start pointing, and before you know it, the team morale is in the basement. Does this scenario sound sort of familiar? Over the next 5 messages in our educational and inspirational series on snakes and suits, we'll delve deep into the world of workplace psychopaths. Those charming, manipulative individuals who can derail teams and poison company culture without breaking a sweat. We'll share stories and laugh because if we don't, we'll end up crying. And most importantly, we will equip ourselves with the tools to navigate these treacherous waters. Brothers and sisters, here's what we'll cover. In message 1, welcome to the jungle. Understanding the snake. We'll define what a workplace psychopath is and debunk some common myths. Message number 2, spotting the scales. Identifying psychopathic behaviors. We will learn the red flags and how to differentiate between difficult and dangerous coworkers. Message number 3, charming but harmful. Dealing with the snake as an employee. This will talk about strategies for maintaining your sanity and professionalism. Message 4, cutting the grass. Strategies for employers, how organizations can identify and mitigate the impact of these snakes in suits. And message number 5, the antidote. Building a resilient and psychopath-proof workplace. Creating an environment where snakes can't thrive. Now, grab your safari hats and snake bite kits, and it's time to venture into the wild world of workplace psychopaths. Now, this is a very important and personal topic for me because when I started my corporate journey over a decade ago, my father, who had about 30 years of executive experience or corporate experience, decades of executive experience of HR. He was an HR executive for many years in banking industry as well as the mining industry. So he's pretty much seen all the blood, sweat, tears, and snakes and suits around the corporate environment that you can imagine. He said, "So son, you are going into the corporate environment, and unfortunately with your bright eyes and your naive mindset, you're not going to last very long unless you learn about these snakes and suits." So he handed me a book by the same title called Snakes and Suits. And I read it and I didn't want to believe that such characters and dynamics could play out in the working world, and how wrong I was. I'm here more than a decade removed from that experience, and I wish I had listened. Because in my time from consulting and working for financial institutions and working for great working environments and working for and with psychopaths that have got no business being in corporate but should be in Arkham Asylum with the Joker, Bane, and Mr. Freeze themselves, I have come to realize that whether you're a good person or a naive person, whether you are astute in your job, you need to understand that workplace psychopaths are there and they're not going anywhere. So you need to equip yourself to be able to deal with them, because if you are there to be a winner, to meet your own goals and organizational goals, you are going to have to learn to deal with the snakes in suits. And of course, you're not the snake in suit, right? Because you are not a psychopath. You just want to build the organization's vision and your own vision. How dare anyone call you a snake in suit, right? Let me introduce you to a fictional character, and his name is Tom. And on his first day, Tom waltzed into the office with the confidence of someone who just bought the company, not joined it. He greeted everyone by name, complimented Janet on her presentation from last quarter, and even remembered that Bill's son had a soccer game over the weekend. Impressive, right? Because people normally don't care about other people unless they really care about you, right? But as the weeks turned into months, a pattern emerged. Tom was always eager to take on new projects, but somehow he never delivered. Deadlines were always missed. Excuses were always made, and yet he always managed to deflect blame with a smile and a joke. The team started to feel the strain, but Tom remained unflappable. Does this scenario sound familiar? Let's define the workplace psychopath, if you will. So what's going on here with Tom? Is Tom just a procrastinator with a charming personality? Or is there something more sinister at play here? The term psychopath often conjures up images of movie villains and true crime documentaries. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Zodiac Killer, people from The Godfather, the Joker from The Dark Knight, right? But in the corporate world, psychopaths are less likely to wield chainsaws than they are to wield influence. They're the snakes in suits. Individuals who possess a specific set of personality traits that can be incredibly destructive in a work environment. Here are some characteristics of workplace psychopaths. They have superficial charm. They're exceptionally good at making favorable impressions. They have grandiose sense of self-worth. They are textbook narcissists. Well, narcissistic people. Some people call them a narc. They believe they're superior and entitled to special treatment. They are manipulative. They use deceit and manipulation to achieve their goals. They lack empathy. They have little regard for other people's feelings or well-being. They lack remorse. They don't feel guilty or take responsibility or accountability for their actions. There are many common myths versus realities that we have to learn about these snakes in suits. Now, the myth is that psychopaths are violent criminals. We talked about The Dark Knight, where we have people like the Joker, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Chainsaw Killer, the Chessboard Killer, But the reality is that most psychopaths are not violent. They can be found in all walks of life, including boardrooms and offices where we work. Another myth is that psychopathy is very rare. Not everyone is the Joker from Dark Knight, right? The reality is, brothers and sisters, studies suggest that up to 1% of the general population exhibit psychopathic traits, and this number may be higher in corporate settings. They use what I like to call the charm offensive. Let's go back to our brother Tom, right? His superficial charm is not just a pleasant personality trait, it is a tool. Psychopaths are adept to masking their true intentions behind a facade of indelible charisma. Now, how do they use superficial charm that masks their true intentions? What the superficial charm does, it gains trust very quickly. Now, by being likable, they lower other people's defenses. They use it for information gathering, where they can use casual conversations to collect data they can later exploit. They end up deflecting criticism. Charm helps them avoid scrutiny when things inevitably go wrong. We need to understand that there is a difference between genuine charisma and manipulative charm. It is important to differentiate between the two, right? Genuine charisma it builds others up, it inspires them, it drives them, it motivates them, and it fosters collaboration. Now, manipulative charm aims to control, deceive, and serve personal agendas. These are the devils of the workplace. If you were in church, you call them the devil's Christians. But in a corporate setting, they are the devil themselves that we call snakes in suits. Now, these personality traits have an impact on the workplace. Now, you might be thinking, so what if Tom is just a bit of a smooth talker? Is it really that big of a deal? The short answer, brothers and sisters, is yeah. The long answer involves a closer look at how such individuals can erode team cohesion, they damage morale, and ultimately, they affect the bottom line. Now, what are the effects on team morale and productivity? Firstly, we have increased stress. Team members may feel anxious or uncertain due to constant manipulation. They foster decreased collaboration. Now, trust breaks down when people suspect ulterior motives. It leads to high turnover. Now, good employees may leave to escape the toxic environment. Now, what is the cost to company culture and the bottom line? This type of psychopathic behavior costs the company by leading to a tarnished reputation. Now, the word gets out about a toxic workplace, making it harder to attract fresh and great talent. It leads to financial losses, where projects may fail or suffer due to sabotage or negligence. It may lead to legal risks because manipulative behavior can lead to lawsuits or regulatory issues. Now, what are some actionable learnings that we can take from this, right? By now, you might be glancing around the office, wondering if you've got a Tom in your midst. Or maybe you take a trip to the lavatory, look in the mirror, and ask if you have a Tom in your midst. While it's crucial to not jump to conclusions, it's equally important to be vigilant. Now, what we need to do, brothers and sisters, is we need to stay observant of inconsistencies between words and actions. Firstly, we're not saying that you should be overtly mistrusting of people, that you should be hyper vigilant. No. You need to be able to trust but verify. If someone consistently fails to deliver on promises, make a note of it. You need to document interactions. You need to keep records of agreements and deadlines, brothers and sisters. This is very important in the corporate context. Many people have been, I wanted to say shafted, but that's not the appropriate term to use. I'm from Benoni, so it's how we used to talk, currently talk. People have been put in a bad spot because they didn't take note of the work that they had agreed to, that other people agreed to. Now, look for patterns. One-off incidents can happen to anyone, but patterns indicate deeper issues. We need to encourage open communication to verify information. We need to start by fostering transparency. It's best to create an environment where team members feel comfortable sharing concerns. We need to make sure that we cross-check information. If something doesn't add up, consult with others that are involved. And lastly, we need to make sure that we avoid isolation. Psychopaths often try to isolate their targets. Maintaining open lines of communication can deeply counteract this. Now, understanding that snakes can wear suits, and often very nice ones, and I might add, very nice ones. This is the first step in navigating the complexities they bring to the workplace. Understanding that snakes can wear suits. Now, by recognizing the traits of workplace psychopaths and understanding the impact that they have, we can empower ourselves to take proper action. Now, in our next message, we're going to be talking about spotting the scales, identifying psychopathic behaviors. We'll delve deeper into the specific behaviors to watch out for and how to distinguish between someone who's simply difficult and someone who's genuinely dangerous to the health of your team and the organization. And until then, brothers and sisters, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and remember, not every charming colleague is a snake, but every snake is certainly charming. Navigating the corporate jungle isn't always easy, but with knowledge, with vigilance, and a dash of humor, we can avoid the pitfalls and thrive in our professional lives. Stay tuned for more insights, stories, and practical advice in our continuing series on snakes in suits.